So I want to talk about resources and being resourceful and being non-resourceful. Throughout my little life, I've noticed that there are some people who really suck at being resourceful. And I've noticed that there are some people who are codependent and don't know it because they're so used to relying on people for resources. I wanted to make a quick video on my thoughts and opinions and my experience when it comes to resource. So I really wanted to break down one, what I view resources as from my standpoint versus how unresourceful people see resources. And like I've mentioned earlier, I've noticed that unresourceful people, they see resources as people, that things have to come from people. So I've noticed that unresourceful people, what they do is that they go and ask their family, they go and ask their friends constantly for money, constantly for time, constantly for whatever it may be, car rides, for a place to stay. We all probably know those people. And they just never can seem to get out of it. It's always one thing after another. They call in your phone for something else this week, next week, it's a whole nother story. But these people see resources as people. Everything has to come from somebody else. Somebody else has to hand them the thing, do the thing for them. And so being unresourceful creates codependency. And these people are often so stuck and life flies past by them. They're still in the same spot that they was 10 years ago because they are unresourceful. They think everything has to come from somebody else. And this kind of mindset, even though people don't look at it as this, but being unresourceful will lead you into toxic relationships. It'll lead you into toxic work situations. It'll lead you into so many money problems, so many friendship and relationship problems, because eventually friends and family get tired of constantly having to stop what they're doing and come and rescue you. And these non-resourceful people, another thing that I've noticed is that they've become abusive. And people may not associate being unresourceful with abuse, because how can you abuse when you don't have any resources to abuse anybody with? True. They abuse money. Because one thing that I've noticed about resourceful people is that money is never enough. It doesn't matter how much you get. You can give them 20 bands. You can give them $1 million. And it's going to go right down the drain. Because they need to get their fix from somebody else. It doesn't matter if they have $1 million. It doesn't matter. They will keep creating problems so that other people can come and be their resource, be their thing, be their God. They will abuse money. They will not appreciate what they have. One thing that I've heavily noticed about people who cannot get out of bad financial situations and who are unresourceful is that they don't appreciate what they have. They abuse it and they neglect it, and that money goes right back down the drain. And they also abuse the people around them. They abuse their family and friends' time. They abuse their family and friends' money. They will literally go ask somebody for money, take their money, and then go and abuse that money. And then wonder why they can't get more money. Why money just seems to run away from them. Because you're abusive because you don't appreciate what you have and you don't take care of what you have. And you're not prioritizing the blessings that you have. And because of that, they always need something to come from somebody else. And it's never enough. Because when you're only pulling from one source, that well will eventually dry out. That's why you see a lot of people have to kind of cut these people off. They'll eventually stop answering their phone calls. They'll have to start telling them no. I'm going to go down a list of things that I consider resources. And I want you to really reflect on your life and see, am I taking advantage of some of these things? Of course, we all need people. Of course, we all need support from family and friends. There is always going to be that time in life where we just need that extra boost, where we need that extra helping hand. But the difference is, don't dry up that well, constantly asking, needing more and more. You have to pour into, appreciate, and reciprocate when it comes to people if you want to keep them as a resource. Because if you don't pour into other people, they will eventually stop pouring into you. And they will become resentful. And even the ones who do keep doing it, do keep giving money, do keep getting time, they grow very resentful of you. And they're just doing it just to be a people pleaser because they don't want to tell you no. But really deep down inside, they're sick and tired of you. So, pour into your people. Don't just constantly take, pour into them. It's like the saying of what's been going around, being a villager, when people want a village, but they don't want to be a villager. But if you want a community, you have to pour into that community and give energy to get good energy back. And so, resourceful people know that they have to take care of others around them so that they can be poured back into. And resourceful people need reciprocal relationships. You don't want an imbalance where you're always taking, and you also don't want to be in a situation where you're always giving. You want there to be balance so that everybody can be happy and so that these relationships can last long term. Places can be like libraries, churches. You can go to the library, you get free books. They even have like TV shows and movies that they have like partnerships with that you can watch for free. They have little classes. I remember I used to take a crocheting class at the library when I was a kid. And so it's just things like that you can take advantage of. Free public Wi-Fi. Right? These things are at the library for free. And so many people do not take advantage of these. That's why public funding is being pulled from certain places because people aren't taking those resources. So you have to make sure that you're using what we're collectively paying for, with taxes and X, Y, and Z. So when you see programs, places, things like that, make sure that you're getting involved. When I'm saying like all of these things I'm about to go through, make sure that you're taking advantage of some of these things so that they can stay there. Because if there's not a high enough demand or people who need these resources or want them, they'll start cutting funding. People will stop donating. They'll stop sending money into these programs and places if nobody is taking advantage of those resources that they're giving for free. It's like standing outside giving away free tacos and nobody comes and get a free taco, so you're just like, okay, well, I guess I'll go do something else with my time. And so when these like nonprofits and even people who just volunteering just to help, when nobody's wanting it, and we're like, oh, I guess I could just go do something else. And so when you're not taking advantage of these resources, and even the ones that I'm about to list further down, they disappear. So it's very important for you to go and take advantage of these resources and use them to your benefit, even if you don't 1,000% need them, right? Like, for example, the library. Even if you have internet at home, even if you can go and buy books yourself, pay the $10 to get a book, it's still nice to go and get your library card and go every once in a while and just see what they have and really support the community so that these opportunities stay open for people who need them. So that's just a little siren, but places are also another resource, and don't forget that. Next is money, and we all know money is a resource, but one thing that I've noticed is that some people don't understand that they can move money around. So they think that they need to have all of this money for one thing here. Now I'll give you an example. Let's say with travel. I have a sister who's a travel agent. And one thing that I've noticed is that not enough people pay for their like trips and stuff months in advance. They don't know that you could just put money to the side. Like it isn't even like a thought in their head that they could just put that money into a separate account or to payment plans for their trips and vacations ahead of time. You just pay it off ahead of time, month by month. They think that you have to come up with this $3,000 for this trip all in one go in one setting. And so money can be a very flexible thing, and you can take from one area to allocate to another. So I'll give you an example from my childhood. My parents, they did not care about clothes. They would wear the same clothes for 10 years. Even my granny had 10 pairs of the exact same outfit. The exact same outfit. She had nothing else in her closet. But 10 pairs of the same shirt, same pants, 2 pairs of the same shoes. With not caring about clothes and X, Y, and Z, just looking presentable. They allocated money to other places. So even though we weren't the richest of the rich, we still had a very full plate. Our lights was always on. We always had, abundance of food. I always had nice toys. I don't know about my sisters because they're a little bit older than me. I always had all the Monster High dogs, all the things. And so a lot of our money went to paying off the house, paying off the cars. Me as a, child getting to have all the little Monster High dolls that I wanted. All right. And so my parents, they didn't go and get, all this extravagant clothes. Didn't go to the salons and stuff like that. But for them, it was very important that, especially for my mom, that her kids had more than what she had growing up. And so, even though they weren't rich, we definitely didn't have a lot of money. But they made sure to really allocate funds to what was important to them and not care about what wasn't important to them. Next is program. And this is one that I see people not taking advantage of a lot. And I noticed this when I was in high school, and our school had a bunch of different resources because it was in a low income area. So we had people giving extra money, extra resources to our school. And I noticed that people were not taking them. The kids at school, they were not taking those resources. And I'm like, I've been to the bougie schools in the upper middle class areas where all the kids was just trying to go after the resources. Like, it was so many kids wanting those opportunities. We were all fighting for them, all trying to get the highest GPA to get this scholarship and to be able to take this class and do this and do that. Then I go to a lower income school, and it's all of these programs, and they're not taking advantage of any of them. They're not signing up for any of them. And I was like, well, what is going on here? The people who need these the most are not signing up for them. And so I signed up for them. But I was like, it's this low-hanging fruit of programs to help you get to where you want to go academically and career-wise for these lower-income high school students. and they're not taking advantage of that. So take advantage of programs. And as adults, this will become housing programs, whatever the case may be, food, whatever. Like, there are so many opportunities out there. That's not just the main ones that you see when it comes to programs like Section 8 and food stamps. There are so many other programs, but you have to go where you have to research. Go to the library, get on their computer, and research what kind of programs for whatever you're looking for your goal. It might be housing, whatever the case may be, and just see what is going on for programs. Do you qualify? What can you do? And so take advantage of them. They're there to help you. And when, like I said earlier, you don't take advantage of them, they go away. So make sure that you're getting help where you can. Be resourceful. Non-tangible things. It's like things that are like time. It's things that you can't really physically touch, but they're there. And so, for example, time might be a really good resource. Let's say you want to do something, right? You may not have a whole lot of money, but you might have a whole lot of time. And so you can use that time to get to your goal. And a lot of us, we have those few gaps in the day, especially as adults when we got to go to work, do this, do that. We have a few slots in the day. And I want you to really take advantage of those time slots. Because I noticed that when I started to take advantage of time, energy, even like a really beautiful day outside, take advantage of those things and make memories. Even having a beautiful day outside. Go for a walk. Go and, if you have kids, go and play with them outside. Go and make memories. Because these things can become really precious that some people look back and wish that they had. The main one we all know is, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more energy. I wish I made more memories. So don't let those non-tangible things fly past you. Don't spend that time sitting on TikTok or whatever. Go and make your dream happen. Last but not least, physical things. These are things that we can touch, right? You have your car, get you X, Y, and Z. So let's use for example, because I used to do DoorDash, right? One thing I had was a car. One thing I didn't have was a job. So what I did DoorDash in order to make money. Then I used that money to do maintenance on the car. And so I kind of looped them all together, right? And so sometimes there are these things that we have that are just sitting around that we're not using to its fullest potential in order to get us to where we want to go. So really take a good look around your life. Are there things, resources, even if they're emotional resources, like somebody or something that just gives you a lot of comfort? It might be a physical item. Let's say you might have something from a grandparent that might have passed away. You have that physical thing that gives you emotional support. And so with these resources or list of resources that I've given you, I want you to really take a good look in your life and be honest about where are you might be abusing some resources and where you need to be taking advantage of them. And one thing I want you to really know is that being resourceful also comes with creativity. And it comes with wanting to take an initiative for you. And one more thing that I want to touch on before I wrap up this video is teach your kids to be resourceful. Take them to the library, take them to the food drives, take them to the back to school drive. Because unresourceful kids become unresourceful adults. And it breaks my heart when I see people would have so much more potential if they just learned how to be resourceful. And when you don't teach your kids how to be resourceful, there might be a time that comes where they need to take advantage of something else. But because they never learned how to, they end up putting themselves in a much more deeper hole to get out of than if they would have just figured out, hey, it's that thing over there. Let me go try it out. Let me go see if it can help. And so that pretty much wraps up this video. Uh, See you in the next one.